All right, guys, the moment you have all been waiting for me to rank the WoW Classic zones from amazing to bad. It's okay to disagree. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Things I'm going to take into consideration: how the zones look. Is there a lot of quests, dungeons, walking value, things of that nature? All right, let's go. Everybody's favorite zone, the Bis Zone, 1,000 needles, automatically amazing. If you
say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
you've never quested there at nighttime, I suggest you do it. One of the most peaceful experiences you're ever going to have in WoW. The questing value there is good. You can all get it done in a couple hours. And then there's a couple good grinding spots, the Centaurs, the Harpies if you're melee. Not to mention, when you're all done with 1,000 needles, you have shimmering flats down there to knock out as well. Without question, 1,000 needles, my Bis Zone. Now let's just go. We're going to pick random ones here. I'm going to go Searing Gorge. Also amazing. A lot of questing value, a lot of boring quests. We got to kill 20 lava spiders, things like that. But the looks are top notch. You have the entrance to Black Rock Mountain, which is really cool. And then you have the caves and the mines in the middle, and all the other stuff like Overseer Maltorius. Easily an amazing zone. Now let's go Fellwood. I'm going to give Fellwood mediocre. There's really not much to do. There's a lot of running involved, especially on the Horde side. You got to go back and forth a lot on these quests. It's just okay. Burning Steps. I'm going to go bad. And only because there's really not much interaction with this zone unless you're getting rich thorium veins, you're hunting black lotuses, or you're doing other mining things. There's a couple quests, couple elite quests, but mainly there's dungeon quests up at the top camp. The walkway to Black Rock Mountain's cool, but there's not really much interaction with the zone. I'm just going to give it a bad. Let's go Mulgore. Mulgore to me is mediocre. It's really chill. I like it. There's a lot of walking though after you get to Bloodhove Village. I feel like Duratar and the Dwarf starting zone and the Human starting zone, Elwyn Forest, are just better. Moonglade. I'm going to give it a bad just because there's not much interaction besides the Lunar Festival and Druid Trainers. I think the town in there is really cool. The colors are really nice. It's vibrant. The town is cool. But there's just not much going on in there. I remember when I first started playing, I always thought I'd like find something cool in there, so I'd always explore it, and I never really found anything. I'm just going to give it a bad just because there's really no value to it. Tearsfall Glades. I'm also going to give it a mediocre. A lot of walking, not much going on, kind of bland. The music is cool. They do have good variety for quests. They got Murlocs. They got the Mills. I think the Mills quests are really cool. You got the Scarlet guys, bunch of random stuff. I'll give it mediocre. Barrens. I'm going to give it a great. Very boring looks-wise, but honestly, the questing value is insane. You can literally do 4 or 5 quests at a time, go in a circle and knock them all out. And then you have the Southern Barrens. Not much walking involved. I feel like all the quests are pretty straightforward, and they have 2 flight paths in that zone, plus Wailing Caverns. I think it's a great zone. I'm going to go Eastern Plaguelands. I'm going to give it a mediocre. That's my favorite spot to mine rich thorium veins, although sometimes it can be annoying because there's mobs everywhere. There's some good quests in there. You got Strathome, but overall, and then you got Naxxramas, but overall, kind of just a mediocre zone. And I'm actually going to put Western in the bad. It's a pretty cool place. I like the abandoned town, and but the Cauldron quests are okay. There's just really not much going on in there. I think the diseased animals are kind of a cool look, but just not a very good zone for me. Azshara. I'm going to give it a mediocre. I think it's an okay zone. There's not much questing going on, but I like the fall, season vibe it has to it. I like the beaches on the right side of Azshara. I like the deserted towns. I like the ghosts, the tower. I think it's a really cool zone. If you're ever bored and just want to walk around and explore, Azshara is the place to go. I'm going to give it a mediocre just for looks and exploration and the deserted areas. Tenaris. I'm going to give it a good. It's okay. There's a lot of good grinding spots. You got the Waste Wanderers, you got the Pirates. Down left, that's where you start your Noggenfogger quest, so that's always a plus. You got Zul'Farrak, one of the best dungeons in the Classic. I'm going to give it a good. There's a lot of walking involved, especially for the southern parts. And if you have that Tuga quest, oh my gosh, I failed that so many times because he just takes forever to fall or he ends up aggroing a mob I can't see on the quest. I'm going to give Tanaris a good. Stone Talon Mountains. If you ever watch my stream, you know how much I hate this place. Bad. The walking value for Horde is terrible. If you start those quests in the bottom right, you got to go kill the loggers, walk all the way back. Kill the shredder machines, walk all the way back. Same with the Taurens. Kill the Taurens, walk all the way back. Kill the Taurens again, walk all the way back. Charred Vale is a death spot for hardcore warriors. Just not a good zone for me. I'm going to give it a bad. Westfall. I'm going to give it a good. I think it's pretty bland. I do think the Barrens offers more value for questing. Dead Mines is way cooler than Wailing Caverns, though. Overall, pretty straightforward. It's just a good zone. Duskwood. I'm going to give it a great. I love the spooky vibes. I love how the guards walk around with torches. You got stitches, the quests. I feel like there's a lot of story in the quests in Duskwood. A lot of good chains that are fun to do. I honestly wanted to put it at amazing, but I'm gonna leave it at great. Winter Spring. I'm gonna give it a good. I don't think there's much questing value there. I think it's just really cool because it's kind of a winter zone. I think some of the caves are cool, where you go to like Test of Skulls to kill the dragon in that winter cave. That's cool. You got the stealth tiger at the top, the rock, and then the bridge connecting Dark Whisper Gorge, and then the giants at the bottom. I think that's a really cool spot. I'm going to give Winter Spring a good just for looks, basically. Hinterlands, great. Great for either side of factions. A lot of quests. You got the Elite Trolls, Rune of the Guard Captain, one of your Prebis trinkets. Great zone. A lot of questing. I think the coast is cool. The Horde town is right on the edge of the water. I think it's a really cool spot. I'm going to give Hinterlands a great. Very cool scenery. Desolate, bad. Now, I actually don't hate Desolate as much as I exaggerate, but if this was a zone where you could have a mount, because specifically people come here like lower 30s, mid 30s, if this was a zone where you had a mount, it would be better. I don't really like the deserted or the just bone dry area, but there's a lot of walking too. The quests are just spread out everywhere for Horde. And if you had a mount, it'd be way more doable, but just not. I just don't like that zone. Not a good zone. I'm going to give it a bad. Wetlands. I'm going to give it a mediocre. Mainly because it's not bad, but it's not good either. There's good quests in Menethil. I think Menethil's a cool town. You got the Dark Iron Dwarves at the top, the Gnolls, the Orcs. A lot of stuff going on, but it's just wetlands. Well, now we're on the wetlands. Let's actually go to the swamp. Swamp of Sorrows, bad. I think the entrance to Sunken Temple is one of the coolest dungeons ever. How you just come up and then you see this huge temple and half of it's underwater. I think it's really badass. I like Sunken Temple a lot. It's one of my favorite dungeons. A lot of people don't like it just because it's tedious. You got to do a lot of grinding in there. But overall, there's not much questing value. It's kind of boring. Swamp of Sorrows, bad. And I'm also going to put the marsh down there as well. Besides Onyxia's Lair, there's just not much value. Especially on the Horde side. You do a couple quests, then it makes you do a Nyxia quest, and then you got to kill the Elite Ogre. There's just not much going on there. The only thing I ever go down there is to farm the whelps for the flame sacks, and that's about it. Now, I'm seeing we're running out of spots here, so we're going to have to probably mix and match as we go. For Arliss, I'm going to give it a great. Great zone. It's just like the Hinterlands to me. I like the vibrant color, how it's just straight forest. You got the coast with the goblin doing the shrink ray quests. You also have the boat there. And not to mention you have the island in the bottom left where you can grind the Kamaras for the Kamara chops, which are a really good food buff and classic. Overall, there's a lot of stuff you can do here. There's Taurens, there's Gnolls, there's Ogres, there's bugs. You get a little bit of everything. I think the quests are fun for Horde. I'm going to give Feralis a great. Ungoro Crater, I'm going to give it a good. I think it has really good value. At Marshall's Refuge, there's a lot of quests you can do that are very easy, and they're very straightforward. You either go to the east side of the zone or you go to the west side of the zone. The volcano in the middle is pretty cool, especially when they have the Baron event going on, the Elemental event. If anyone doesn't know what that is, check that out. I just found out about that. That's pretty cool. But overall, I'm going to give Ungoro a good, and obviously you got the Devil Source too. Pretty fun. I'm going to give Badlands good. I like the zone in general. I like the story on the right with the Broken Alliance chain. I like all of that. There's not much value to it as far as questing, but it has Uldaman, which I like Uldaman as well. As you can see, I like all the unpopular dungeons. And it also has the Anchor Forge, or the town right there, a good grinding spot. I'm going to give Badlands good. I think it's an okay zone. Silithus, we'll skip that one for now. Let's go Arathi. Arathi, I'm going to give amazing. There's a lot of good questing value. There's a lot of good grinding spots. You have the elite quests. The zone's cool. I like the broken bridge at the bottom connected to wetlands. I think that's a really cool feature. A lot of value for questing for Horde. I'm going to give Arathi a great. Stranglethorn Val, I'm also going to give that a great. I think it's a great zone. The only thing I don't like about it is you do the mastery quest at the top. They don't give you much XP. You come back later in the 30s, do some of the Grumgall quests, come back later, do some of the Booty Bay quests. I don't like how you have to keep going back and forth with it, but honestly, that's a cool way to look at it. It's very diverse, and there's just a lot of levels that you can do some grinding there. Now let's do Silver Pine Forest. I think it's good. I never really spend any questing time there, to be honest, but I think it's a cool zone. Again, the spooky vibes. I like how there's SFK there. SFK is one of my favorite classic dungeons. I think it's okay. The questing value isn't that great. I feel like everybody prefers the Barrens, but if you're trying to have a chill experience and not have a lot of mob tagging competition, I feel like Silver Pine's a good spot. All right, I might be a little biased here just because I'm a Horde type of guy, but I'm going to go Duratar Amazing. I think it's a great starting zone. The quests are extremely easy. The only bad thing about it is that Senjin Village is kind of out of the way, and between Razor Hill and that. But otherwise, Duratar is a great zone, great leveling zone. I enjoy it a lot. L1 Forest, I'm going to give it also an amazing. I don't play Alliance that much, but I do like L1 Forest. It's your classic World of Warcraft. I feel like all the new players, I remember my first time going to L1 Forest. I thought it was so cool. The music's great. Going in the Goldshire, you got the Night Elf dancers, of course, on the mailbox. What happens in the Goldshire and stays in the Goldshire, and it's a great zone. I'm going to give it amazing. Let's go Ashenvale. I'm also going to give that amazing. Way more value for Alliance than Horde, but it's a really cool zone. I like the Moonwells. I like the Satyrs at the top right, and you also get the World Boss there as well that a lot of people haven't really seen before. I think it's a fun boss encounter. You got Zoram Strand, which on the left there, if you've never been to Zoram Strand, good spot for Horde questing. Also the beach, if you turn your music volume up or your game volume, it's really relaxing. Sometimes I go there just to chill. I'm not even lying. Ashenvale, I'm going to give it amazing. Now let's go Hillsbrad. I'm going to give that a great. A lot of value for Horde questing. You got the Battle of Hillsbrad chain. You got all those Hillsbrad fields. You got Durnhold Keep over there on the right. Great zone. South Shore is good for Alliance as well, except it's just later on. Horde comes there a little earlier, but great zone. A lot of good questing value, and not bad on the eyes either. Blasted Land. No, let's not do Blasted Lands. I'm going to give Silithus. I have kind of been debating this one. I'm going to give Silithus a good. I think it's an okay zone. I like the Dukes. I'm doing the Duke quests. The Twilight stuff's kind of weird, kind of just annoying. I'm not a fan of bug mobs, but I do like the zones. I think some of the mountains, like being circled by the bug waves, is really cool. You got AQ40, which for some reason people aren't a fan of AQ. I really like AQ40. Obviously, the pre-Cthulhu trash is kind of annoying, but AQ20 is the one I have a problem with. I can't stand that raid. So we'll give Silithus a good. Deadwind Pass. I feel like it should go in the bad, just because it really doesn't have any value to it. I think it's really cool. I like the cloudy, misty, dark vibes, and it's got the vultures and stuff like that. But literally, people only use it to cross over to Swamp of Sorrows and then Karazhan, obviously, in TBC. But kind of just a useless zone in Classic, so I'm going to give it a bad. Darkshore. I'm going to give it a mediocre. I think I like the Barrens so much better. I think Darkshore is a little more convenient than the Barrens, but it's just, That's how I feel about it. Same with Redbridge. I'm going to give that a mediocre as well. It's okay. You know, you got I think the elite orcs are cool. They're doing that broken castle. I think that's a fun place to do. But it's kind of has that Stranglethorn Val vibe to me, where you do a couple quests, come back, do a couple quests, come back. I think the escort, the Corporal Keyshawn quest, is kind of cool. I think that's like a really cool escort. And then you got Yowler. I'm gonna give it an okay. Lochmodan, I'm gonna give it a great. I like Lochmodan a lot. I think it's right up there with the Barrens. I think it's a good questing spot. It's cool. It's chill. I like the water in the middle. You got the Croc land. That's an unbelievably great farming spot. You got the elite ogres in the top right. You got the hunting quest in the bottom right, along with the Trog caves, ruins, whatever you want to call it. I like Lochmodan. It's a cool place. Now, Dwarf starting zone, Dunmorrow. I'm going to give that an amazing. I love that zone. I really do. I wish I played Alliance more. If I did, I'd be rolling Gnome and Dwarf. I love that zone. There's not much walking. I like the sound of your feet in the snow with the game volume up. I like how there's a variety of different mobs, and then you got the entrance to Gnomeregan, which is insanely cool. I wish people more. I wish if you ever do like a full clear. I remember doing a full clear of Gnomeregan for the first time, like way back in the day, and I thought it was so cool. There was like, it just seemed like there was no end to it. Like you could go right, left. There was just so many different ways you can go for no reason really, but. Overall, I think Dunmorrow is a great zone. Blasted Lands, I'm literally only going mediocre for the looks. Obviously, and then you get the roids if you're a warrior, great stat, the 25 strength, but not much going on there. I love the heat lightning, whatever that is. You got Doomlord Kazakh in the corner. Taramis, of course, the infamous Taramis kite to kill Grief Lobies. I think it's fantastic. And then you got the Dark Portal there as well. I like it just because of the looks. If it had questing value, it would easily go up to the good or great category. Now, Alterac Mountains, I'm going to give it a mediocre literally for the same thing, just the looks. I like the broken ruins castles. I like the abandoned town where the Defias people are. I think it's cool. There's just not much questing value for Horde. There's a couple elite quests you can do, Crown of Will. There's also the Yeti quest. That's a chain that you can do. Overall, it's okay. I never spend any time here, though. I guess it's a good spot to grind ogres if you want, but for Horde, at least, there's just not much going on there. And then, obviously, the AVQ place, but Night Elf starting zone, I'm gonna give it a good. It's okay. It's not the best. I think Durotar, Dunmorrow, and L1 Forest are way better. Overall, it's okay. I've only done the Night Elf zone a couple times, so I guess I don't have much to speak on it. I think it's easy, straightforward. But I did mess up on the level 10 rogue quest because I didn't know that if you ran away from the satyr or if you pull him wrong, that he has like 200 bodyguards that come up behind him. So I died on hardcore because of that. But overall, that's my list, boys, for amazing. We got 1,000 Needles, Searing Gorge, Arathi, Durotar, Elwyn, Ashenvale, Dunmorrow. Great. We have Barrens, Dustwood, Hinterlands, Feralis, Stranglethorn, Hillsbrad, Lochmodan. Good. Tenaris, Westfall, Winterspring, Ungoro, Badlands, Silverpine Forest, Silithus, the Night Elf starting zone. I always get it wrong, so I'm not even going to say it. Mediocre, Fellwood, Mulgore, Terracefall, Eastern Plaguelands, Ajara, Westlands, Darkshore, Redridge, Blasted Lands, Alterac Mountains, and our bad Burning Steppes, Moonglade, Western Plaguelands, Stone Talon Mountains, Desolate, Swamp of Sorrows, Dustwallow Marsh, and Deadwind Pass. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's okay to disagree. Let me know how you feel in the comments. I'll see you guys another time. I thought this was really fun to do. I wanted to try something different. So I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye.